and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Angela Yang, and today I'm going to be talking about Vieta's formulas. Vieta was a famous French mathematician that came up with these formulas that are widely used in algebra today. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to understand and apply Vieta's formulas. This is one of my favorite topics in math, and I really hope you enjoy this video. So let's get started.
First off, let's focus on applying Vieta's formulas to quadratic equations. A quadratic equation is typically represented as f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, with roots p and q. Now, you can call these roots anything you would like, but for simplicity's sake, let's just refer to them as p and q right now. So remember from algebra that the roots are the x values that make the equation equal to 0. They're the x-intercepts of the graph and sometimes are referred to just as the zeros of the equation. So what does Vieta's formula tell us? Vieta's formula tells us the sum and the product of the roots in relation to the coefficients of the quadratic equation. So that would be p plus q, that's the sum of the roots. The sum of the roots would be negative b over a. And the product of the roots is p times q, and that would equal c over a. So that's really all there is to Vieta's formula, but it's being able to understand and apply this knowledge right here that will make it more useful and important in the long run. So it is important to keep in mind that the a and b and c that are being referred to here do go back to the original equation. A is always the coefficient of the leading term. So in this case, it's the x squared term. And b is the coefficient in front of the x term. And c is the constant. And right now and today, I'm just going to focus on talking about Vieta's formulas and how they're applied to quadratic equations. But do keep in mind that Vieta's formulas have tons of other uses, especially for higher degree polynomials. So this really is the essence of it, the sum of the roots and the product. Sum and product of the roots. This is it. So just if you want to pause the video right here and just take a moment to kind of look at this and remember it, then this will really help for the next problems that we're going to do. So what does this mean though? Let's talk about that first. Let's just say we have x squared plus 3x plus 7 equals 0. So this is a quadratic equation. It has a degree of 2 and it's equal to 0. So let's say we have roots p and q again. P plus q, that's the sum of the roots, and then p times q, that's the product. Well, if you remember from what we just talked about, we said that the product would be, the sum of the roots would be negative b over a. And then the product would be c over a. So let's figure out what that means. Negative b over a. That's just negative 3, which is in front of the x term, and a is 1. So negative 3 over 1, just negative 3. And c over a, 7 over 1. That's just 7. So that's what that means when it's being applied. So now that we've gone over that, we can move on to a tougher problem. I hope you're ready, but I will walk you through it. So here's the problem. Given the equation 3x squared plus 13x plus 9 equals 0, with roots x sub 1 and x sub 2, what is the sum of the squares of its roots? Whew, how are we supposed to figure that out, right? Well, let's break it down first. Let's figure out what the question is asking. The sum of the squares of its roots. So a square of its roots. When you square a root, that's just x sub 1 squared and x sub 2 squared, right? The sum of that. So put in an addition sign right here, and that's what we're looking for. But the real question is, how do we find that? Sure, we know what that means, but how are we supposed to figure that out? Well, just they're squared, so we must have to square something. Let's let's hold on to that for a second and go back to the equation. 3x squared plus 13x plus 9 equals 0. So they're asking about the roots, so we might as well just write down what is the sum and the products of the roots. So x sub 1 plus x sub 2 and x sub 1 times x sub 2. So our sum would be negative b over a, like we said, and that is just negative 13 over 3. So negative 13 over 3, that is the sum of the roots. I'm not going to write the of the roots part because I'm sure we know that by now, but c over a would just be 9 over 3. So that's just 9 over 3, and that's 3. And that is the product of the roots. So we could square something. Do we want to square? Let's square this first expression here. So x sub 1 plus x sub 2 squared. Well, it's the square of an expression. We know how to do that from algebra as well. That's x sub 1 squared plus 2 times x sub 1 times x sub 2 plus x sub 2 squared. Well, hey, we have what we're looking for. X sub 1 plus x sub 2. We just got a little excess here, but take a look at it. It's 2 times the product of the roots. We're set. So let's square x sub 1 plus x sub 2 first. So that's negative 13 over 3 squared. That's just 169 over 9. So we said we had what we needed, but now we just need to subtract away the excess. The excess here is just 2 times 3, because that's the product of the roots right here. 2 times 3, and that's just 6. So all we got to do now is subtract that away from the squared expression, minus 6. And that is equal to 169 over 9 minus 54 over 9, because we want to have it in a nice little fraction together. So that's just 115 over 9. And that's our answer. That right here, that's the sum of the squares of the roots. That's the answer. Thank you so much for watching the video. And I hope that this has helped this has helped you learn a few more facts about Vieta's formulas and quadratic equations. And if you have any questions or any requests, please just leave them in the comments below. Thank you so much again for watching.